This week, Ford have given me the keys to Mustang GT. Not that Mustang GT, this one. But before you click next, here's some quick stats that might make you stick around. It'll do 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds thanks to a 358 kilowatt, 860 newton meter dual motor electric setup. That's quicker than the V8. It weighs 2.2 tons and drive away you're looking at about $107,000. There's a select variant that starts at 63 grand, a premium variant that starts at 88 grand, and that actually gets more range than this GT that's behind us. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be any sort of Picasso here, but you can see what they're trying to do with the headlights. They're kind of Mustang-y, kind of a little bit Ford Focus-y, actually Ford Transit, to be honest. And you've got these Mustang tail lights. Look, for an EV, it's not the worst looking thing in the world. Definitely not the best, but definitely not the worst. In terms of a Mustang, I don't know. Doesn't really cut the mustard. There you got the badging as well. But before we take it for a drive and see how it compares to the GT, this is how you hop in it. This button here, and it just pops out. And you can do, there's a passcode as well if you don't have the key. The key's in my pocket, it's proximity. And I'll do that at the back for the passengers as well. Makes it easier because there's not really a handle here to grab onto, so you need to get that out. I don't know, is that dangerous? So starting with the seats, they're both driver and passenger are electrically adjustable. They're quite comfortable as well. They kind of bolster and wrap around. They've also got this extra sort of insert up here that wraps around your shoulders. Look, it's comfortable for me. If you're a bit bigger across the shoulders than I am, might not be as comfortable, might round you off a little bit. But for me, it's quite comfortable. You've got telescopic adjustment. Hang on, if I do this properly here, there you go. You've got telescopic adjustment, reach, so you can get set up pretty comfortably. These are heated and ventilated as well, and this steering wheel is heated as well. So in winter, you're not going to have any problems. There's plenty of storage space. This kind of lifts up. This is, I don't know what this is. This is an armrest. It doesn't really add much. And then you've got this bin that's under this retractable lid here. That's a decent size, 12 volt socket. And then you've got wireless charging up here, and there's more storage down under here in true EV fashion. It's got the little ledge down there. Door bins are quite spacious as well. So, you know what? I wasn't expecting when I hopped in this for it to be, I don't know why, to have heaps of storage, but it does. It's got a really good amount of storage and functionality as well, because you've got your USB ports up there, USB-C. And then you've got this massive screen here, 15.5 inches. And look, for the most part, it's pretty good. It's maybe a little bit slow and delayed, and you've got this dial here that acts as your volume. If you're playing around with the air conditioning though, it switches to air conditioning. So it's sort of like the Range Rover system, where the one dial acts as multiple different things. It's really cool. It's a nice feature and makes it, you still got physical buttons or, you know, knobs, but you don't have heaps of them. It's a kind of nice little halfway point. The screen itself, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, both wireless, and I've not had any dramas with it, to be honest with you. But apart from that, you get this giant moonroof, which actually kind of makes this feel a lot more spacious as well. And this 10.2 inch screen up here, it kind of reminds me of say Cupra Born, where it gives you the information you need on this small kind of narrow screen. I do kind of wish maybe it moved with the steering wheel a little bit, but you can get it set up with this telescopic adjustment pretty well, just because depending on your height or whatever, you can drop it down, or maybe you might need it too high. You know what? Actually, scrap that. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Oh yeah, driver's seat also gets a memory function. You've got 3 settings here on the door, and you get these funky little, there's no door handle in the traditional sense. It's like this little kind of lever here, lever. Kind of cool. I don't know, I like it. Kind of a bit different, like getting into the car. And then of course you've got a 10 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is really, really good. It's a really premium, it's kind of like surround sound. I was listening to something the other day, and there was, you know, bass coming from over here, and there was different stuff coming from here, and there's different stuff coming from the back, and it's just, yeah, with the quietness of the EV, it's a really premium sound system. I was really impressed. You've also got some gimmicky stuff as well, because you've got like this. And jumping into the back, look, it's all right back here. There's a good amount of headroom, knee room. Yeah, look, that's in my driving position. It's not as much as some others. I've driven the D-PAL, the Leap motor, and honestly, there's a little bit more space in those, at least I think so. Tow room's not the best either. I just feel not restricted because there is heaps of space here, but it's not as spacious as some of the other EVs. You've got air vents though. You have USB-C and USB ports here. The seats are comfortable enough. Again, you've got these kind of triggery door handles, 2 cup holders. Not a whole lot going on back here. Yeah, look, it's not the best second row that I've been in an EV. It's not the worst. You're not going to be uncomfortable here, but if you are looking for a spacious option for, you know, kids and traveling around. All right, so driving. Now, I come to this spot to get out of the way. There's no one around here, so no one thinks I look like an absolute maniac while I'm talking to the camera, but in hindsight, probably not a great idea, because despite getting the MagnaRide adaptive suspension, it is quite firm, no matter what you are in. So there are 3 drive settings. You've got, you know, normally they just say what they do on the tin. There's a comfort, there's a sport, there's a normal, eco. Not with this. So we've got Whisper, active, and untamed. Now Whisper is your comfort slash kind of eco. Your active is probably what you'd call your normal, and then your untamed is your sports, or your sports plus, or your GT, or whatever you want to call it. I'm in Whisper now, and you can probably just see everything rattling around in the cabin. This is an unsealed road though, keep that in mind. But yeah, when we get out on the actual road, you'll see that it's still a pretty stiff setup, regardless of which of the 3 modes you go into. We're gonna brake boost a little bit. Let's go. It pins you back. I'm not gonna lie, actually, it doesn't feel like a sub 4, but I mean, it does feel quick, and you can feel the wheels just scratching for traction. Yeah, it's a fun time. It's just let down a little bit by the ride because it is so rough. I feel like people will get a bit annoyed living with it day to day. You do have the Whisper. It does soften things up a bit. It lightens the steering, but it's still a firm setup, and I feel like that will rub people the wrong way, especially like I live kind of not out in the sticks, but look, our roads aren't the most well maintained. They should be, because they keep putting our friggin' rates up. But anyway, it's a different story for a different time. And look, the last week with this thing has it's rattled me a little bit. Now, the other good addition that Ford have slapped onto this is upgraded Brembo brakes. And they stop like you've dropped an anchor. They are really good, and what you want on a car that goes 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds. But they've also fitted some other stuff. You get AEB, you get your lane keep, you get your blind spots, you get your reversing cameras. All the tech is here as well. The one thing you don't get that they have over in the States is the autonomous driving. It's called something blue, but basically it's, you know, the autonomous driving, the Tesla kind of style, where you just sit back and let it do its thing. Maybe we'll get that soon, because Tesla's just launched their autonomous driving here in Australia, and that's currently going through the ringer with all of the different publications at the moment. So who knows, it could be a update, an over-the-air update somewhere in the future. And actually, while I'm sitting here just waiting for this thing to charge, let's talk about the boot as well. I'll show you the boot. So you get 400 litres with the seats in place, which is, I'm not going to lie, it's lower than, say, the Kia EV6 GT, or it's nowhere near the Model Y. But with the seats down, it's actually more than the EV6. So I think it's around 1,400 litres compared to, say, 1,200. Again, doesn't hold a candle to the Model Y. So look, boot space is not fantastic. I've managed to get some outdoor furniture and stuff in there. didn't really have a problem, but we did need to bring 2 cars to get the whole set in. So I suppose we did have a little bit of a problem, but luckily we planned ahead. So yeah, in terms of boot space, it's, you know, it's not the best, but you can fold the seats down and it does become more competitive when you're lugging around larger items. So what else can I talk about while I sit here waiting for this to charge? Visibility. So you get a window at the front to look out of, which is good. You get a window at the back, which, look, it's not the biggest window, but it's all right, decent amount of visibility. Where it gets a bit tricky is the C-pillar, because that is a chunky C-pillar. So check in your blind spot. Look, it's a, you know, we've all driven cars. You've got blind spot monitors too, so it's not really a problem, but yeah, it's a chunky C-pillar. But I mean, apart from that, you know, I really actually don't mind this as an EV. I've driven a fair few recently, and of the ones I've driven, you can see them on the channel. If you want to, I don't know what you do, click the name and go view the other videos. I might chuck a few up, links up here. Pretty good. It's probably, you know, I've driven the Leap, the Deepal, the Jeep Avenger, this thing, and not even for performance reasons, just as a vehicle and comfort and driving and just ease of everything. This has probably been my favorite recently. I've quite enjoyed driving this thing. Where the EV6 gets a 20 litre frunk though, this gets 130 litres, I think it was, which is, you know, substantially more. Again, neither of them hold a candle to the Model Y, which I think that's about, I think it's 117 litre frunk. So that's significantly up again, but yeah, you get a bit more storage up front as well. So, you know, it's down in rear storage, but you get a bit more up front if that is handy or helpful. So should you buy the Mach-E GT? Well, if you're after a performance EV, then look, it ticks a lot of boxes, competitively priced compared to say the EV6 and the Ioniq 5N. Go drive it, see if you like it, see the pros and the cons and see what I've said about it, see if it matches up with your lifestyle. But should you buy this over a V8 GT? Hells no. And if you don't like that, I know everyone's gonna be like, Alex, you gotta save the planet, you know, EVs are the future. Well, look, go make your own channel and say whatever you want, but you're gonna have way more fun in the GT V8. Plus, it's 14 grand more expensive to buy one of these over a manual GT with the V8 engine. Just go buy one of those. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe, give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.